I'm John McMahon.
And I'm Melissa Borden. Police are investigating in Burlington after two murders just steps from downtown.
Melissa Cooney is live from the scene on Decatur Street. Melissa, what can you tell us this morning?
John and Alyssa, Decatur Street is a small street in Burlington's Old North End. Right now, it's pretty quiet here, but police say that just around 9 p.m. Sunday evening, they received calls of gunfire on the street. According to police, when law enforcement arrived on scene, they found two adult men. One was dead and the other was seriously injured, and both were shot in the head. The surviving victim was transported to UVM Medical Center, where he also died. The victims have not yet been identified. Burlington police also note that around 8 on Sunday night, they got calls about gunfire in the vicinity of Vermont Comedy Club on Main Street. Witnesses reported seeing two men flee, and police later recovered evidence confirming a gunfire incident. And it's not currently known if these two incidents are related, and the investigations are still ongoing. Live in Burlington, Melissa Cooney, Channel 3 This Morning.
What's good, y'all? What's the numbers TV? It's your boy Paul Rowe. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and like a video if you appreciate the content that Paul Rowe and What's the Numbers I provided. So we back on the profile piece. This one is on Leaf L's. In this video, we're going to talk about his early years coming up in Brooklyn and Vermont. Then we'll speak on Leaf's entry into the street and gang lifestyle that he would end up becoming a part of, and how it led him right to prison. After that, we must highlight Leaf's time as a rapper and some of the milestones that he was able to reach in a short period of time, before finally breaking down the situation that would end up costing Leaf his life. Leaf L's, real name Khalif Jones, is from Vermont in the Crown Heights section of Brooklyn, Franklin Ave, L Block to be exact. Growing up in Brooklyn in the 2000s could be a little crazy, depending what part you was living in, as Brooklyn was heavily gang infested during that time, and Leaf would end up becoming a member of the Crips while in his teens. But Leaf also grew up in Vermont and even played Little League Baseball out there. Once Leaf became a gang member, he began to live more of a street lifestyle, which meant having enemies and carrying guns. Leaf would be back and forth from Brooklyn to Vermont, but eventually started spending a lot of time in Vermont, which is where he was making most of his money at. But trouble would come Leaf's way while up in Vermont, and Leaf began to experience jail after catching a few different charges. Leaf also was rapping by this time as a way to express himself and started dropping music videos for his songs on YouTube. Leaf has arrests on record dating back as early as 2014 when he was just 18 years old. Some of the charges Leaf was convicted of throughout the years in Vermont were aggravated assault with a weapon, robbery, and drug trafficking charges. Although most of the trouble Leaf got into with the law happened out of town in Vermont, whenever he did something musically, it would be based out of Brooklyn. Most of his videos were shot in New York, and in 2017, Leaf dropped his biggest song titled No Twirl Zone, which was released during the beginning stages of the Brooklyn drill scene. The video for No Twirl Zone currently sits at 7.3 million views on YouTube and features other artists like Ace No. 5 and G's Gasoline on the track. Leaf got locked up a month after the video was released for one of the previously talked about charges, so he never got to really capitalize on the success of the song, but it did help his name get bigger and more well known in the Brooklyn rap scene. Also in 2017, Leaf had a run-in with another Brooklyn rapper named Aladdin Zantana that played out on the internet and got a lot of views at the time, although it was pretty much just a bunch of nonsense. In October of 2019, Leaf dropped his second biggest song on YouTube with 5-year foreign named Ops in the Air that currently sits at 1.9 million views. 2019 was a good year musically for Leaf, as he dropped 2 more videos on YouTube for songs he did with Eli Frost and the battle rapper Chess. Both songs got a nice amount of views and upped Leaf's visibility on the internet some more. But 2020 and summer 2021 was spent in jail for Leaf after he was picked up by the U.S. Marshals in December of 2019 for one of the criminal charges we spoke about earlier in this video. Once Leaf got released in 2021, he got back on his grind musically, dropping the video for Legendary, which was produced by Axel Beats in July 2021. He also was a new father as he came home to a son that was named Khalif Jr. after him. Leaf will go on to drop a few more videos on YouTube, but will end up going back to jail, which is where he spent the end of 2021 and most of 2022. By the beginning of 2023, Leaf was once again a free man and back in Vermont living his everyday life. He would occasionally come back to New York City whenever he had something music related to take care of, but couldn't spend too much time in Brooklyn as he was still on papers up in Vermont and wasn't supposed to leave the state without permission. No new videos were released on YouTube by Leaf after his release from jail in 2023, but supposedly new music was on the way. But unfortunately for Leaf and his fans, that would never happen, because in November of 2023, Leaf would lose his life after being shot in the head in Burlington, Vermont. The details of what exactly happened are still a little sketchy, but according to reports, Leaf was killed along with another man named Anthony Smith Jr. in an apparent drug-related double homicide. Both men were fatally shot in an apartment where investigators believe that Smith was killed by Leaf and that Leaf may have been killed by a third person in the apartment. A gun was recovered on Leaf, which is the gun that killed Anthony Smith, although ballistics proved a different gun killed Leaf, and that gun hasn't been recovered yet. Both victims were on the floor next to each other in the same room of the multi-room apartment. Smith was dead, and Leaf was lying next to him, seriously injured, and died a short time later. No other suspects or participants in the shooting have been arrested or identified yet. Leaf Els was just 27 years old at the time of his death. But yo, it's What's the Numbers TV. There's a quick profile piece on Leaf Els, real name Khalif Jones, out of Brooklyn / Vermont. You know, if you in tune with Leaf's career, he was into a lot of shit from a young age, man. As you can see on the internet, you know, he was pretty staticky. You know, he had a lot of, you know, flare-ups on the internet with different people. You know, a lot of ops. You know, a lot of, you know, smoking on this person, and if you ain't GDK, all this type of stuff. You know, he was into all that as far as like in his music and stuff like that. Now, he was out in Vermont. You know, some people say he grew up out there and come back to Brooklyn. Some people say he grew up in Brooklyn and go out to Vermont. But for sure, he was out in Vermont for a long time. Like I said, he got arrested dating back to 18 years old. You know what I'm saying? So he been out there for a while. Now, from what I know, my experience, like I got some experience in Vermont, in that actual town that he passed away in, Burlington. When I was out there, which was decades ago, man, it was a gold mine. So I don't know if it's still a gold mine or not, but, you know, I'm pretty sure the feds and all type of things is up there. It's probably hot. It's probably a frying pan now. But I know back then it was a gold mine. So if it's anything like it used to be, I see why people will be up there, you know, trying to get money, chase the bag, if that's the lifestyle they're into, you know what I'm saying? Now, it was a safe place when I was up there, which makes it kind of crazy for me to think that he got killed up there in Burlington, especially by shooting. Because when I was up there, it was like Vermont was like the safest state in the United States. It was like, you know, it wasn't really no gun crime, no gun violence, nothing. You know, it might be some junk fights at the bars and things like that, but it really wasn't, you know, like a aggressive area. It wasn't you had to worry about too much when you was up there. It was a college town, and it was a lot of money out there when I was up there. So, you know, it probably changed since then. Like I said, that was years and years ago. But from what I remember, Vermont was definitely a good place if you was into that hustling lifestyle. You understand? It was a lot of money up there. So, you know, it's kind of crazy that he lost. There was a lot of money up there without the violence, let me say. So that's why I say it's kind of crazy that he lost his life the way he did. Now, he was one of the originators of the Brooklyn drill scene. We got to get that up. You know, No Twirl Zone, Big Op, America, all those No Suburban. All those songs was early on in the drill wave out of Brooklyn. And those was like one of those, you know, he was like one of the forefathers as far as like he was involved early. You know, him, Tutu, G's Gasoline, Bambino. These was like the original. Even Aladdin was out there early doing the kind of drill music, you know what I'm saying? Now, he probably could have been a bigger artist, but he stayed in and out of jail. He had a long arrest record in Vermont for a bunch of different charges. And every time he got some, you know, momentum, like even with his biggest song, No Twirl Zone, he went to jail right after, so he never got a chance to do shows and promote it. It was just organically going crazy on YouTube. The artists that he had featured on it probably got more, you know, momentum off of the song because they was out free to, you know, put that groundwork in. But, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Leaf. Leaf Els, you know, L Block. You know, go check his music out. His Instagram. He has a son, you understand, that's out here without a father now. So it's a lot going on with these things, man. So it's a profile piece on him. You know how What's the Numbers do, man. We on our way to 100K. We at 95,000 right now. So if you're not subscribed to the channel. Go follow the Instagram, What's the Numbers TV. Follow my co-host, Batty Bills, on IG. Salute to Federal A. Any business, Poro, What's the Numbers at yahoo.com. And on that note, we out of here, man. Peace.